What is good, you guys? Welcome back to the Report. Welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to Bleacher Report's power rankings for every NBA team post free agency. Now, I have not seen this article before. Shout out to Greg Schwartz for creating this article. But Bleacher Report does this every year. We're going to be reacting to it because the Miami Heat were one of the biggest names in free agency this year. We're going to see where they are, but also comment about the positions of other teams on this list as well. I'm going to be just critiquing this list, and if they made a mistake, they made a mistake. It's fine. We don't have to beat around the bush about it. But it's very reassuring that Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler is the cover picture of the article. So that makes me think that the Miami Heat are either really high or really low. So we'll see where the Heat are very soon. But before we get into the list, though, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. We are very close to, I'm pretty sure, 1,400 subscribers, and we cannot get there without your help and your support for the channel. Also, hit up my Twitter if you guys have any questions, and use the comment section as frequently as possible as well, and turn on post notifications. Last thing. So a lot can change in a few things, especially NBA power rankings. The last version was released just before the draft and free agency began. Seeing players like Russell Westbrook, Jonas. Okay, yeah. So this is post free agency. Cool. How much did the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls jump following deals for Kyle Lowry, Lonzo Ball, and DeMar DeRozan? What about the Knicks signing Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier? Are we prepared for a world where the San Antonio Spurs are one of the worst teams in the NBA? Now, with the draft over and free agency cooling down, here's how all 30 teams stack up. Oklahoma City Thunder at number 30. I'm not surprised. They are going to be bad. I don't know if they're going to be the worst team, but I think they're definitely going to be bad. For sure, because I think the Thunder usually try to sit. I mean, they did that last season. They try to sit out players and just tank the season because they have the picks and stuff. So I won't be surprised. They have a very young team. So yeah, 30 Thunder seems fair. Magic at 29 also seems fair. Their team is also very super young. I think Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz will miss some time. I'm not sure if Jonathan Isaac is going to play from day one. I know Markelle Fultz is not. But Jonathan Isaac, I don't think he will either. So apart from like Jalen Suggs and stuff, like they don't really have any like real scoring. Like Jalen Suggs and Cole Anthony is about it. So, but I like to see how Franz Wagner fits in. He's not like a dynamic scorer, but he's kind of like a do-it-all wing. I like their youth movement though. I just don't think they're going to be good this year. So Bleacher Report kind of nailed it on the head there. Detroit Pistons at 28, man. Detroit Pistons at 28. Very interesting. Very interesting because obviously Detroit is they're going towards the youth movement as well. Obviously now Killian Hayes is the longest tenured player on the team. They obviously traded away Sekou Doumbouya and Jahlil Okafor to buy out DeAndre Jordan. And yeah, man, I just think that Detroit is not going to be good. I can understand 28 for the Pistons for sure. Like they're not going to be a good team. Jeremy Grant is cool. And maybe Jeremy Grant can become an all-star this year. But apart from that, like it'll be interesting to see Cade Cunningham and how he plays. But they won't be a good team. Houston Rockets at 27. Makes sense. Like I said, I think this team could be a little bit higher if, everything clicks. Like if John Wall comes back. Because John Wall was averaging like 20 and 7 before he got shut down for the season. And then Christian Wood was playing really well as well. I've been impressed by Jalen Green. I think they had a really nice draft, like Jalen Green, Josh Christopher, obviously Alperen Sengun, and then Usman Garuba. I thought all four of those picks were amazing picks. And then you still have like Wall, who doesn't really fit their timeline, but he can definitely win you some games. And same thing with Christian Wood, and Eric Gordon can fill it up sometimes. So I like I think their team could get a few more wins than expected, but we'll see what happens with that. Spurs, wow, the Spurs at 26. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like, seeing the Spurs this low is like shocking because like the Spurs have been like a playoff team for so long until last year, but they were still very close last year. They were not, bottom feeders. The Spurs, obviously, they lost DeRozan, lost Rudy Gay, lost Patty Mills. Their draft, a lot of people were puzzled by it. I like Josh Primo a lot. I just didn't think I would take him at 12. Maybe they could have traded down or something, but they got their guy. DeJounte, Keldon Johnson. Like, Keldon Johnson, I would honestly, put a lot of money that Keldon Johnson will be one of the leading candidates for most improved player this year. Like, if you had to pick someone, like, I would not be mad at you if you pick Keldon Johnson. To me, it's going to be Rui Hachimura or someone like that, but Keldon Johnson is also another great choice. But yeah, the Spurs won't be good this year looking at their team. Cavs, same thing. Lauri Markkanen was like a little bit of a head scratcher to me because you already had Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, and then you still have Kevin Love, who they can't really figure out how to buy out. Larry Nance, I thought was a good role player. Like, I don't think Larry Nance got the credit he deserved. But we'll see how Markkanen fits. I just don't think they can play all three of them at the same time. And I don't think you drafted this guy number 3 overall to just make him come off the bench. That doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll see how they work that out. But I do have a feeling Evan Mobley will come off the bench because they're definitely not going to bench their $100 million re-signing extended guy, which is Jared Allen. And then they paid Lauri Markkanen a lot of money as well. So we'll see what happens with Cleveland here. Sacramento at 24. Sacramento, I get this. I think Sacramento at 24 is fair. I'm not mad at Sacramento at 24. I would probably put them at 24 as well. I did not like the Davion Mitchell pick, not because I think Davion Mitchell is a bad player, but I just don't see where he's going to play. Obviously he's probably going to be a backup point guard on that team. He's not going to be a shooting guard. Like, we can cut down those rumors already. He's like very short. He's like 5'11", 6 foot at best. I know the listed height will say like 6'1", 6'2", but he's not tall at all. And even if you play him at the 1, you're saying that De'Aaron Fox is now playing at the 2, and he can't shoot. So how is he going to play at the 2? And then Tyrese Halliburton can't play at the 3 either. So they already had 2 competent guards. I don't know why they drafted another one. That did not make any sense to me. I just don't see how he's going to get the opportunity on that team. But apart from that, I like Rashawn Holmes. I thought the re-signing was good. Hopefully they move on from Marvin Bagley and Buddy Hield, though. Like, they've been trying to do that for a long time, but I think Marvin Bagley's time is over. And then same with Buddy Hield. Like, he's been in trade rumors for like 3 years now. So, yeah. Raptors at 23 is a little bit surprising. I think the Raptors are higher. Like, I honestly think the Raptors are higher. Like, I like their team. I don't think they're going to be like a playoff team or anything like that, but they could definitely sneak into play-in for sure. You still have like Fred VanVleet, you have OG Anunoby. I like Scotty Barnes a lot. Like, Scotty Barnes is probably one of my favorite players coming into the draft. I love him. His upside is ridiculous. Obviously, got Precious and Goran. They're probably going to trade Goran away to the Mavericks or something, or buy him out or something like that. Pascal Siakam is still there, but I think the Raptors will be better than 23. Like, I think there's teams that are above the Raptors on this list that I think will be worse than them. And then same thing with the Wizards. I think the Wizards will be a lot higher. I honestly think the Wizards could make the playoffs this year. I love the Wizards team a lot. Like, I don't think they're going to be contenders or anything like that, but I think they're being slept on a lot. Like, they're a very deep team. Like, just look at their rotation right now. I'm about to say it right now. Spencer Dinwiddie, Aaron Holiday, Raul Neto as your 3 guards, your 3-point guards. You have Bradley Beal and KCP. You have Denny Avdia, Corey Kispert, and Kyle Kuzma at the small forward position. You have Rui Hachimura and Davis Bertans, and then you have Montrezl Harrell, Daniel Gafford, and Thomas Bryant. So they're very deep. I love this team's depth a lot, and I like the Wes Unseld coaching hire. So I think the Wizards will be a lot better than 22 for sure. Pelicans at 21 is fair. I'm still trying to figure out where they put the Timberwolves at, because I don't think the Timberwolves will be better than any of these teams. The Pelicans, the Kings, the Pelicans, the Raptors, or the Wizards. But maybe they're next. But 21 for the Pelicans does make sense, though. I did not like the Jonas Valanciunas. I love the Jonas Valanciunas trade, but I did not like how they really struggled to replace Lonzo. Like, Devontae Graham is cool, but like they were going after Kyle Lowry and stuff like that. They struck out on him. But I like the Trey Murphy draft pick, and I love the Jonas Valanciunas trade. Okay, so the Timberwolves are at 20. I think the Timberwolves will be a little lower. Like, I think their team is good, and I think at fully healthy, they could like try to contend for a play-in spot. But I'm taking the Wizards over the Timberwolves. I'm taking the Wizards over the Timberwolves any day of the week, especially because the Wizards are in the East. So I don't know. I think the Timberwolves are a tad bit high. But if they do stay healthy, like Cat, like it says right here, Cat, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Edwards. Like, Malik Beasley's coming back from his suspension or whatever. They're rumored in the Ben Simmons sweepstakes, but they'll probably have to give up at least 1 or maybe even 2 of these guys to trade for Ben Simmons. But yeah, that's about the Timberwolves. The Grizzlies at 19. I mean, the Grizzlies at 19 is fair. I did not like the Steven Adams trade. Obviously fits the grit and grind or whatever, but I think Jonas Valanciunas was a big upgrade over him that they lost out on. I like Zaire Williams, but like I said, like Josh Primo, I think he was picked too high. Like, I think you could have traded down and gotten him. Like, they had the 17th pick, and they traded up to the 10th pick. They traded away Jonas Valanciunas to do that, just to take a guy who's probably going to be there at 17 anyway. So you didn't have to trade up 7 spots to get a guy who's probably going to be there at your original draft pick position. So, you know, Zaire Williams, I really like Zaire Williams, but I don't think he was. I think he would have still been there at 17. Los Angeles Clippers at 18 is surprising, man. I think even without Kawhi Leonard, they could win you some games. Like, Paul George, I'm pretty sure the record with Paul George was not as bad as I've seen people make it seem. Like, I like Justice Winslow pickup. If he can stay healthy, he's a good addition. Shout out to Justice. Obviously traded away Patrick Beverley, but got back Eric Bledsoe, who I think is a good piece. I don't think he's going to be like, you know, an all-star or anything like that, but I think he's a good piece. And I think they had a good draft. Like, Keon Johnson was not supposed to go that low. BJ Boston went in like the 50s. And then I like Jason Preston as well. I think this team will be better. I think 18 is very low. I don't think this team will be this low. I think they'll be better than the Pacers, who are next, actually. Like, even without Kawhi, I think the Clippers will be better than them. But, you know, the Pacers are still a very well-rounded team. Obviously drafted Chris Duarte. He's a good player. I just don't know where the minutes will come from, because you already have Brogdon and McConnell. Maybe you want to move him to the 2, but you still have like LeVert there. So he's probably going to come off the bench for sure. Sabonis, I wanted to see them do something with that Sabonis-Turner partnership, just break it up, because it hasn't really been working. I think one of them had to go, and I think it had to be Turner, because Turner, obviously Sabonis is a better player, so you wanted to keep him. But they kept Turner around. Obviously still TJ Warren's coming back from injury. They'll be a solid team, as they always are. Like, Indiana's always like a middle of the pack team, but they won't be anything special in the East. Boston Celtics, I think, should be higher. I have the Boston Celtics higher, man. I think that the Boston Celtics, I don't understand why this team's offseason is getting, you know, pooped on. Like, I think this team's offseason is not bad whatsoever. Like, Dennis Schroeder at $5 million is a steal. Like, I would take him. If I was the Heat and we got him for $5 million, I would be doing backflips right now. Like, I think that's a very good pickup for $5 million. And I'm not like, I don't like the Boston Celtics because I'm a Heat fan, but I have to respect that they're a better team than 16 for sure. Marcus Smart, I like. Peyton Pritchard, I like. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I like. They just traded for Juancho Hernangomez. And maybe this was made before the trade happened, but like, I don't think that trade itself should put them up 3 spots. I think it should be their whole offseason in general. Jason Tatum is going to go off this year. So would I love Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown can become a top 5 shooting guard very soon, or small forward, whatever he plays. I think he can become top 5 at his position very soon. I like the Celtics offseason more than what Bleacher Report gives them credit for sure. Ooh, Hornets at 15. So y'all think the Hornets will be better than the Celtics? I don't know. I think the Celtics will be better. I respect the Hornets, though. I think the Hornets will be a fun team. LaMelo, I think they had a really nice draft. Obviously, Luke Knight at 11 was a steal. Kai Jones at 19 was a steal. They got JT Thor at 31. Scotty Lewis at 56, if I'm not mistaken. I think I had Kai Jones going to them at 11, so the fact that they got him at 19 was really good. That trade with the Knicks helped a lot. But I don't think this team will be as good as the Celtics. I think this team will be solid. They lost Devontae Graham, but I don't think that'll be a huge loss because they just drafted another guard. They'll be a solid team, man. Maybe healthy Gordon Hayward can add some wins to that team. LaMelo coming back, you know, can add some wins to that team, but I just don't think they'll be as good as, you know, some teams that are lower than them. Like the Celtics, I think will be better. Pacers and them is a discussion. You know, I'm not going to lie. Them or the Pacers will be very close, but I think the Celtics will definitely be better than them. Portland Trailblazers at 14. Dame is probably going to stay, as this article says. Damian Lillard is still in Portland, so Dame will probably stay for the foreseeable future. They'll be good. They'll be a playoff team. I don't think they'll be anything special, but they'll be a playoff team. You know, I did not like their offseason because you did have to address what Damian Lillard said, which was we need a better team because our team right now is not good enough. And the pieces that they acquired, like I like Larry Nance. I think that was a good pickup, but apart from that, like nothing really screamed oh wow, we're looking to, you know, just push ourselves to the contender spot. Like, no, like Cody Zeller, Ben McLemore, Tony Snell, like these guys are role players. Obviously re-signed Norman Powell, but I think they had to do something big in free agency and they failed to do so. But they still have Dame for now. Hopefully this team can get Ben Simmons. Hopefully that's the big splash they're waiting on. But they'll probably have to give up CJ, maybe even Dame, the way Daryl Morey's been acting. The guy wants everyone for Ben Simmons. But yeah, them at 14, Chicago at 13. I like Chicago at 13. I think it's a discussion. Who's better between Chicago and Boston? Like, I think that's a very good discussion to have. I might take Boston, man. I might be crazy for saying that, but I might still take Boston over Chicago. We'll see. I think they'll be very close. But I definitely think Boston and Chicago are better than Indiana and Charlotte. So I think like those two teams and the Knicks are going to be like the teams after, you know, you have the Bucks, Nets, you have the Sixers, Heat, Hawks. Like after those 5 teams, it's really like the Knicks, the Bulls, and the Celtics that I think are the next best. And then you have your Wizards, your Pacers, your Hornets. Like I think the Wizards could be better than the Pacers. Like I was surprised they were at 22 for sure. But yeah, that, and then obviously New York Knicks at 12. New York Knicks at 12 is a little bit high if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not surprised like they're this high because Kemba Walker, they basically got him for free. You know, Julius Randle is still there. Evan Fournier, they got back. They brought back a bunch of their guys as well, like Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, Rose, Taj Gibson are all back. And then they still have RJ Barrett. I like this team. I like this team a lot, but you know, I think they're still going to be like that second tier of Eastern Conference teams behind the top 5 that I just told you. At number 11, you have the Mavericks. I think this is fair. I like the Mavericks team a lot. I think this is fair. They didn't do much in free agency though. Like Reggie Bullock is cool, but it doesn't really matter. I like the Reggie Bullock pickup. Don't get me wrong. I've said like Reggie Bullock was very underrated because he can definitely shoot the ball, but their philosophy is still the same. Like even though they hired a new coach, their philosophy is still the same. Get the ball to Luka and hopefully you have shooters that can knock down shots. And if you don't have shooters that can knock down shots, then you know it's kind of just. It's just, you know, like the same philosophy that they've had. And Porzingis is a very big question mark. You know, you don't know what you're getting from him. Maybe they can get Goran. If they can get Goran, I'll look at this offseason a little bit differently. But 11 is fair. 11 is definitely fair. Nuggets at 10. I think the Nuggets are higher. Even without Jamal Murray, I think they're higher. Not, you know, top 5 or anything like that, but I definitely think they're like, I would probably put them couple spots higher. You know, without Jamal Murray, it's going to be interesting, but I like Bones Highland. I really like Bones Highland. And then obviously they got in Jeff Green. I like the Nuggets team. You know, they always find a way to be like a good regular season team, you know, with injuries or other circumstances. Golden State Warriors at 9. Like I think I would probably, call me crazy, I think the Nuggets will be higher than the Warriors. I don't think the Warriors will be as good as people are expecting. Maybe they can, but like Klay Thompson is coming off of like 2 really big injuries. And then Iguodala is not the same player he was. Otto Porter is coming back from an injury. They have a lot of question marks. I like their draft picks though. Kuminga and Moody were great picks. Apart from that, they didn't really add anyone. They lost Eric Pascal. Yeah, they didn't add anyone. They lost Eric Pascal, but they still have Steph and Draymond and Clay coming back and Andre. So maybe that's why they put them at top 9 or whatever. But I think they'll be like about 10, 11 in that range. I think the Sixers are too high, bro. I'm going to say it right now. I think the Sixers are very high. I think Ben Simmons, they got to figure out this Ben Simmons situation ASAP. Like, they got to do something with him because if he comes back on the team, they're not going to be 8. I know, like, they were the 1 seed last year with him, but he's caused too much dysfunction with that team. Like, there's been so many reports coming around about, you know, Ben Simmons saying that he doesn't want to come back and he's about to get fined for not showing up to training camp or whatever. Like, they got to find a trade partner for Ben Simmons soon because, you know, if they trade away Ben Simmons for someone else, then maybe the 8 is realistic. But with Ben Simmons still on the team, I don't think they'll be 8. I think they'll be lower. Atlanta Hawks, a little bit. Actually, I like their respect. I was going to say a little bit high, but I like their respect because they just made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I like their team, man. I do like their team a lot. They brought back John Collins. They have legit depth now. I think their team is solid. Would I take the Nuggets over them? Would I take the Warriors over them? Probably, but I don't think it's a far-fetched idea to have them at 7, just because you have to respect the team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Jazz at 6. I like the Jazz team a lot. I think the Jazz and the Heat are very similar. Like, you have Conley and Lowry. I would take Lowry, but like, Conley was just an all-star last year, so you have to put respect on his name. You have Mitchell, you have Butler. These guys are very, very good. Like the stars of the team. You have Bam and Gobert, and then you have glue guys. You have Ingles, you have Tucker, you have six-man like Tyler Hero and Jordan Clarkson. Like, these teams are very similar. Quinn Snyder and Spo are very good coaches. So I like the Jazz team. They obviously got back. They got Whiteside in to replace Derek Favors. Whiteside will be cool. I'm pretty sure him and Gobert had some like beef or something. So we'll see what happens with that. Rudy Gay pickup I like. Their power forward is like Royce O'Neal now. I think Rudy Gay is a big upgrade on Royce O'Neal. I think Rudy Gay is a guy that I wanted the Heat to pick up last year at the trade deadline. And then, yeah, I like their team. At number 5, the Phoenix Suns. So the Heat are top 4. I would honestly put the Heat at 5. I think the Suns should be at 4 because they just made it to the NBA Finals, man. Like, I know the Heat did really well in free agency, but if I'm taking my bias out of it, I have to respect the Suns coming into the season. Like, they brought back their guys. I'm pretty sure they got in JaVale McGee. They traded for Landry Shamet, who's a really good shooter. I would put the Phoenix Suns at 4. I'll probably put the Heat here. I'm pretty sure the Heat are 4, though. Yeah, the Heat are 4. So, I love the respect, BR. I love the respect. And it's not far-fetched, but I would probably put the Heat at 5 and flip them with the Suns because the Suns just made it to the finals, whereas the last memory of the Heat were them getting bounced in the first round. Lowry is good, but I think that the Suns still have a better team at this point. They still do. I think, if I'm taking my bias out of it, I think the Suns will be higher than the Heat. So, but I love the respect. I absolutely love the respect. I think BR is one of the only outlets to really respect our offseason. Oladipo, amazing re-signing Markieff Morris. I talked about this in the last video, so you guys know my feelings about the Heat's offseason. Lakers at 3. Wow, Lakers at 3. I guess they just want to respect the Bucks, which makes sense. But the Lakers had a really nice offseason. Bucks at 2, and I'm guessing Nets at 1. Makes sense. I think the Nets are 1 as well. I'll probably put the Lakers at 2 and the Bucks at 3, but I get you want to respect the defending champions, which makes sense a lot. So that is that. That is me reacting to every NBA team's power ranking post free agency. Shout out to Bleacher Report, Greg Schwartz, for this article. Let me know what your thoughts are about this article. Let me know what your thoughts are about my comments about the article. Leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, and also hit up my Twitter. I'll see you guys later as always, man. Peace.